Greetings YouTube family, welcome to my channel, My Lioness Journey. My name is Nechelle. Today I want to speak to you all about starting over again and being in your 40s. My experience with this and how I'm processing this. I want to be transparent with my feelings and thoughts, and let's do this. So ever since 2017, it was apparent to me that I pretty much needed to move forward and out of my divorce. I got married in 2006. In 2017, if you watch some other videos on my channel, you'll see some of my story about my marriage being abusive. And I was married to a narcissist, and I experienced abuse in the marriage. 2017 pretty much solidified the thought in my head that nothing is going to change. So from 2017 leading up to 2020, I pretty much knew I gotta find a way to get out of there, and that took a process as far as mentally, emotionally preparing to do so. And so 2020, I left that marriage. When I left, I wasn't divorced yet. I was separated, and I left with my two younger children. And I decided to leave pretty much everything, almost everything behind. I left behind furniture, even down to plates, silverware, beds, table set. What I brought with us was our clothes, a craft table I had, a chair, like very little small things like that. But I left with nothing. Fortunately, I was able to secure a job. I was able to do an interview over the phone because I had not worked for some time in the marriage. We lived in North Florida. He got a promotion, and but before he got the promotion, he asked me to stop working full-time so that I can pursue dreams that he later never supported. I stopped working full-time, and then I eventually started back working, to say part-time. I did some substitute teaching. And then when we moved, when he got his promotion from North Florida to Maryland, I didn't work at all. And then we moved from Maryland to South Florida. So that would be a span of, I'll say about 4 years. I didn't work at all. I didn't bring in any income. I just, I took care of the kids. I took care of the home. I cooked. I did that type of stuff. So I was a homemaker. And so when I left with my younger two children in 2020, June to be exact, so June of 2020, I was about to start a job in like a week or two. That was going to be my first time ever working. I didn't have any savings. I have an old car. The money that I did have was $500 that he gave me, and a little bit of money left that I had over from the first stimulus we all received, because I had to use a great portion of it to get my car fixed, because again, I have an older car. So I pretty much left with, that's all I had to my name. Like some people say, oh, they don't have any money, they're broke, but they may have like 10,000 stash or something or more. No, I had 500, 600, I don't know. I know it was less than $1,000. That's it. My clothes, my children, no place to live on my own at the time, except for I was able to temporarily live with a friend, but I wasn't moving into my own place. I was moving in with a friend, and that was hard for me initially, but that's how that happened. But that was hard for me, knowing that at being in my 40s and having to go live with someone, a good friend, but in her space. her home where rules are established and they have their own way of doing things versus the way that I do things. I found that to be challenging. Now, before moving, when I knew that this was coming, like I'm going to have to leave and pretty much start over from scratch, or as close to scratch as possible, that wasn't easy. Emotionally, that was very hard, because in the marriage, he did tear me down, and he would say things as far as me ever being able to be successful outside of him. He would, say a lot of things to get into here. Plus, I have a history of childhood abuse where my mom said certain things. And having to do that work, which started in 2017 for me, of getting in my own head and brainwashing myself and trying to get those thoughts out of there and replace them with my own thoughts to say, no, I am capable and I am worthy and I can do these things. I have been out of the workforce for a while, but someone will hire me. It's not like I've never worked before, and I did go to school. And so someone will hire me. But leading up to the time where it was time to leave, I remember feeling anxious and I remember feeling scared. And not because I still wanted to be in that abusive marriage or still wanted to be with him or feared living outside of him. Before I met him, I was living on my own, paying my bills. I had children before his time. He had children before my time. We had children together in the marriage. But so it had nothing to do with him. It was more the fact, like, oh my God, I'm in my 40s and how did I allow myself to get here? I need to go live with a friend. Is it anything that I could do? I'm trying to think of things that I can do to try to get my own place so that I do not have to live with my friend. And the closer the date got to, like, the date for us to leave, that got, I don't want to say it got harder. It's just that at a certain point, before I just finally surrendered, that was hard. I cried about it and I was like, is there any other way? I want to say probably within a month's time frame, to say it was time to go. Like, it was within a month that I know I'm going to leave, because my son and a good friend of his came to move me. They came from out of town to move me and the younger children back to home, which would be North Florida. And it took like a month within that time frame to just be like, look, it is what it is. Either you move with your friend, it's temporary, you're not going to be there forever. It's just a stepping stone. Just humble yourself. Be thankful that someone opened their doors to you, because you're limited on where you can go. You can't go to your parents. Your situation it's not like that. It just is what it is. Or you can stay in hell and continue to be abused, continue to hear things about yourself. You are strong. You are capable. We got to get the hell out of here. So it was like, okay, it just is what it is. I'm just going to have to just tough this out and move. And so, but I just wanted to be honest with you all about the thoughts, because for the longest it was tough. It was like, how did I find myself here in my 40s? No money saved. I'm just about to start working. Any 401k, anything like that is all through his employer. I have this older car, and I still drive the car. I'm very grateful and thankful for my car. It's still hanging in there. She's old, but she's reliable. And but it was still tough. Like, man, feeling like I should have been further along. Or why would I allow myself to be in a position like this? Why I didn't have any money saved up? Why did I quit my job? Why am I here? And so many days that was tough. And even after I moved with my younger children and we moved and lived with my friend, we ended up having to live with her and her children. She had 2 children still in the house. We had to live with them for about 2 months, and some days were easy, like, okay, I'd much rather be here than the hell that I left. But some days I cried while I was there, and I was like, man, this is tough. Like, this is just tough, you know. I would much rather have been able to just move straight to my own, to have money saved up, but it is what it is. Now, for me, it is fair to say that that was rock bottom for me. I felt like rock bottom, starting over from scratch. The little bit of things we did have, I was able to have in a storage, one of those small storages, like a 5 by 10, I forgot how they call it, but it's a small storage. Everything we own fit in there. And then we had some things that we brought over to her house. We were able to have our own room, thankfully. So my younger 2 children and myself, we just shared a bedroom that she had there, and I was very grateful for. But again, it's fair to say that at this point, I'm feeling like I'm at rock bottom. So eventually, like I said, we stayed there 2 months, and I was able to, well, I had a job, like I said, but I was able to find a place. And the girls and I, we moved into our own apartment on my birthday. It was like the perfect birthday gift. Like, I didn't have to be treated anywhere. No one had to buy me a gift. I was so happy to be able to get the keys to my own place, a place that's of my own, with my name on it, that no one could tell me to get out of. I don't have to walk around on eggshells and feel like if I don't say the right thing or do the right thing, that someone could threaten my livelihood and tell me to get out of their place. That felt amazing. I had to get some loans in order to be able to get furniture. So I remember qualifying for, why am I saying I remember? I qualified for a loan with, not a loan, a credit card with rooms to go to be able to get some things. And I did have to get a personal loan. I'm thankful that my credit was in a, good enough to be able to get the loan, but that's how I was able to get the beds for us to sleep on and to get some things. I'm still paying back on the loan, but it is okay. I mean, the ability to be able to sleep on a bed, for my girls to have their bed, for us to be able to watch TV, to have forks and spoons, to have a washcloth to take a bath and a shower, and a towel to dry off with, I'll take it. And right now I'm working, and it's not an ideal job. It's definitely not my dream job, but I am thankful that someone hired me, because I remember being very concerned, like, oh my God, I haven't worked in this many years, listening to the things that played in my head that was said to me. Oh my goodness, will someone hire me? And I got a job before I left there, so I was thankful for that. So right now I'm working. I have why can I say that word? Entrepreneurial, yeah, that word, dreams. I've always had, ever since I was a little girl. I can remember being a little girl trying to think of things I can do. I was like, I'm going to be the honey dripper girl. I'm going to sell things. I don't know how I was going to do it because I didn't have the money to do it, but I remember having thoughts and dreams like that ever since I was a little girl. And so even still now, I do have those type of thoughts and visions and hopes for myself that I jot down and run through and do the research on, to be able to try and get that going for myself. I haven't given up on that. At one point in time, I had to put it to the side to just survive, I feel like, but I haven't given up on those thoughts and dreams. So I'm going to be honest with you, being in my 40s and having to start over, I take it day by day when it comes to feelings. I have to, when I feel a certain way, like if I feel sad or depressed, or why am I here, which thankfully I don't have these feelings nearly as much as I used to, but I'll allow it. I'll allow the feeling to come. If I have to cry, if I have to be angry, I allow it. I like to write, so I may write some thoughts out. I may write to anyone that I feel like is listening or is concerned, and I'll write out how I'm feeling, but I'll allow the feeling. I won't say, well, you shouldn't feel this way, you should only feel grateful. No, I'm a human being that experiences different feelings. So if I'm feeling sad, upset, or whatever, I allow that. But then at some point when I break out of that, I look at what I am grateful and thankful for. It's like I kind of fast tracked, and I feel blessed in that sense that with having a determination and having faith that I am where I am. What I can say is what I deem to be rock bottom. I still need to get a car, and there's things that I still need to get for myself and my children. And I feel like they will come. When you are rock bottom, and when I think about rock bottom, I have this vision in my head that something's falling, right? And it hits the ground, and like it falls and it's facing the ground because it sees that it's falling, that person, right? And they're falling and they hit the ground. And so when you hit the ground, your face is like in the pavement. So the thought I have about that is, okay, if this is my face and my face is in the pavement and I hit rock bottom, I have two choices. I could stay there and just bury my head there and look down, or I could roll over and look up. And I decided, well, let me roll over and look up. And I can tell you, this isn't to try to sound corny or cliche-ish. Every day I don't always feel this way. Every day I'm like, when, why? Well, some days I'm like, when, why? But for the most part, I say, okay, roll over. Now let's look up. Okay, now we are what we call rock bottom, and we're able to see some progress we made since we've been here. But if we look up, look at how much stuff is up and how much stuff we can achieve. You know, like how much there is to gain. A beautiful thing about being rock bottom or starting over is it's like, to some degree, it's pretty much like a clean slate. It's like, okay, it's not that all of your sins or however you want to call it just wiped away and all of your experiences. No, they are what they are, and these experiences are what you have had to go through to form you and shape you, mold you into the person that you are and will be. But you're able to say, okay, I don't have these burdens. You know, I didn't have the burden of, I gotta tote all this furniture and all this stuff with me and then be stuck with the energy of times I've cried on that sofa or sat at that table feeling hopeless. I got to leave all of that behind with him. And I get to look up and say, okay, well, what are things that I like to do? What are things that I've always been interested in, or things I used to be interested in that I had to put to the side to appease this person in this marriage, to keep him from being angry or upset, or to just support him only. So that's a takeaway, that I can look up. Yeah, I'm at the bottom, but all that potential that's up there, even unexplored possibilities, I think is a beautiful thing. The other thing that I am learning and have taken away, and I'm really like drilling it in, is to not put a cap or an age limit. I'm in my 40s, I'm starting over. What I did was brave and very courageous. I could have, for comfort's sake, stayed in my situation for fear purposes or whatever, stayed where I was, eventually died with regrets like, what could have happened for me had I left? What could have happened for me had I just been brave and just said, you know what, I know these children are still, younger age, they're elementary and middle school, and I know I haven't worked in a while, and I don't have any money saved up, and I have this old car. What am I going to do? How could my life have changed? I didn't want to be a person that died with that regret. And so what, I'm in my 40s. That's something I tell myself, like, so what? I'm still vibrant, I'm still breathing, I'm still living. I woke up, which means that I still have an opportunity to do something. I'm still needed in some type of capacity on this earth. And so let's explore that. That's another takeaway for me. So every day is a day by day. Some days I do feel well where it's getting better. Like, well, I embrace it and say, it is what it is. I'm thankful I have my life. I'm still living. I made it out of that situation. I'm brainwashing myself. I'm seeing my worth. I'm doing the self-love and the self-healing work. And nothing in that house and nothing that man was providing was worth me staying there and dying while walking around like a zombie or something like that. Again, it's a day by day. When I feel sad, I just allow it and I say, okay, I'm claiming that anything that I touch or put my mind to will be successful. And if it's not successful, it's because it wasn't for me. And to maybe explore another route because that just wasn't for me. I'm learning to listen to my own intuition and listen to my own voice and to define my own I am. So it's scary, but scary in a good way. And overall, I'm grateful and I'm thankful. So I wanted to just share that, stop in today and share that information about myself. I know there may be many of you out there that's watching this and maybe you have found yourself in a situation. It may not have necessarily been a marriage that was abusive. It could have been a marriage that ended, or maybe a business failed from your perspective, or whatever it is. I remember hearing a story of this woman. I think her business is in Atlanta. She had like a barbecue or some type of business. The business burned down and she ended up opening up a vegan business, and that business took off and is extremely successful. And I can only imagine that when the first business burnt down, she may have felt like, oh my God, this is a rock bottom moment for me. And I remember reading that story and feeling so inspired, like, okay, she cried if she had to cry, she cursed, she felt sad, or she did whatever. And at some point she said, hey, I've done this before, I have to accept what this is or why this is. And now that was the best thing that probably could have happened for her. And so I'm looking at it that way. I'm choosing to look at it that way. I would not always be driving that old car that I am grateful for. I will not always be here because I'm not going to allow myself to be here. So if you're like myself and you have to start over in your 40s, 50s, 30s, whatever that age is for you, don't put a cap on it. Don't put a cap on your age and say, oh my God, I'm this age, I cannot be successful. Yes, you can. Yes, you will, if you choose to be. And if you like what you hear, I do hope that you continue to tune in and watch other videos, because not only do I share personal parts of my journey, but I also enjoy encouraging my fellow journeyers on this channel. So I hope you found this information helpful. If you so happen to be someone that had to start over, 40s, 30s, 50s, 60s, whatever, and you have any tips or advice or anything encouraging that you could give to myself or any of us, anyone that may be watching this video, please leave that down in the comment section below, because I feel like it would be greatly beneficial to anyone, including myself. So please do so. I thank you so much for stopping by, and I will not ask you to subscribe. It's weird when it comes to asking for someone to subscribe. I feel like a person is going to subscribe if they feel led to. So if you feel led to subscribe to my channel, I greatly appreciate it. I will ask that you like it, because I do feel like if this information is helpful, the more likes the video get, then something happens in YouTube land where it's suggested to someone else that could watch this, be inspired, and be motivated by it. So I will ask to like, but for you to like, but subscribe if you feel led to. And if not, you know what? Thank you. Thank you for stopping by. You didn't have to. You didn't have to stop by and watch this video all the way up to this point. If you're still watching, that means you didn't click off, and I greatly appreciate you. So thanks again for stopping by, and I will chat with you all in a new video. Bye-bye for now.